and I've just literally got me bill from March to April.
Yeah.
I'm quite horrified at how much it's gone up. So they contacted us, and some of them are amazing, but it's just not going to work. Just for the cash flow super strength and stuff, but.
And welcome to the About Small Business podcast catch-up sessions. In this week, I'm actually going to be chatting to Graeme Richardson, Rico of the White Room Café.
Yeah.
Rico, absolutely loving the White Room, absolutely loving what they've been doing with it. I have obviously visited for
yes, you have, yeah.
And absolutely fantastic atmosphere. And I can recommend, if you love music, if you like things that are a little bit off the wall, come and visit the White Room. It is absolutely awesome. And as well as that, if you love comedy.
Comedy is indeed.
Branching out now.
Yeah, we have, yes, and welcome back, Barry. Thank you. The second best cup of coffee in Stanley.
That's it.
The northeast, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, we've had since was it? Yeah, did you say yeah?
Yes, in February last year. So
yeah, so slightly different. That you'll see it's we're sitting in a different place, but it's I'm transforming it. You'll see in the window the camera can't see there, but we've got new seating in the window over here, just to try and maximise the space we've got. So we're up to 60 capacity.
Wow.
So I think it might have been 45 or 50. I think we're putting in.
So squeeze a few more people.
So we've got 60 capacity, and it's all done, and it's turned into a music venue as opposed to a coffee shop type thing.
The nice thing about it is as well is obviously you've got all the PA system, everything already
wired
in.
Yeah.
So literally people can just turn up with the guitars, can't they?
Oh, instantly, yes. I've been given kindly donated a bass amp, which you'll see on stage. So a bass player in bands just need to come and that's it. So
they can plug in.
Lazy musicians become even lazier. We're all lazy if we get the chance, Barry, aren't we? So,
absolutely, yeah. The worst part of the night, I always say that's what I charge for when you're packing down.
Oh. But that's, you know what, so musicians who come in here, they're spoilt, and I make sure I do that, because that's where, we go out in places and we don't get offered a drink, and we just not respected, and in here I'd like to think that they are, so so they get that experience. And that's
it. Well, I mean, the reputation is certainly speaking for itself, so I mean, we've just gone through, I think, was it awful April or something people have been saying, that's affecting things like business rates, obviously minimum wage.
It is, yeah.
How are things for you in that respect?
I'm lucky, see, I've got one room.
Yeah.
And then upstairs up the toilets, but there's no heating up there. But my heating has gone up, and I've just literally got me bill from March to April.
Yeah.
I'm quite horrified at how much it's gone up.
Wow.
And thankfully April to September, October, the heating's not going to be on as much. But I always have the heating blast. And what I want you to do when you come to the indoors is it's like, oh yes, it's lovely. It's not
cozy.
But even in Februry, when the heating was blasting, and you open them doors and the Stanley north wind came through there, whoa, it's still cold, But yeah, everything goes up. The government's put tax on alcohol, percentage on wine. So
right,
I can't remember the percentage, but it's ridiculous. So every percentage of wine, it's gone up £1 to £2, and it's all tax, isn't it? And it's small businesses are taking a hit. I'm fortunate that I don't employ staff or volunteers, and I think I noted that when we had our first chat, and other businesses aren't that lucky, and I'm in debt forever for me volunteers who come in here, and it's that I'm lucky, and I've just started paying myself in February.
Right.
Literally in February I got my first payment.
That's a huge achievement though, isn't it?
So it took us 18 months, and I was able to pay myself, which can't retire on it, but it covers me costs. It gives me a reason to do it. But a lot of it comes back in, Barry. You can see what I've just explained about turn into a music venue. My next thing is to improve the lighting in here, and just put a couple more nice stage lights on there again to make it that wow factor when you come in.
I think what is worth remembering for any business though is it's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it?
It totally is.
It
is.
I mean, the fact that you're now paying yourself does mean that things are building.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Once you get that momentum with it, because I mean, you've been saying that you're now being approached by a lot more artists as well.
Yeah. I would say inundated quite a lot, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
I get a lot of folk musicians, which it isn't a folk venue. It's not a folk club.
Yeah.
But because there's folk musicians play here, when they're post other folk musicians, we all do it. We all follow other artists. and the other people are going, oh my God, that looks amazing. So they contacted us, and some of them are amazing, but it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Because the niche market, if I put it even nicher with like traditional folk, I might get 10 people, 15 people, and I can't do it as much as I would like to put more stuff like that on. It's just not going to work. So there is folk artists come, or there is blues artists comes. There's a lot of blues musicians out there. That is not working. I had to cancel a few blues musicians.
It's interesting, because I would have assumed that blues people would, but it's about people coming, isn't it? It's
Stanley Blues, we had how many? 20,000 people at Stanley Blues,
Stanley Blues Festival.
Probably 19,800 weren't there for the blues. Just for the Kestrel Super Strength and stuff. But it was amazing times, and there's an interest in it. But I'm finding certain artists, just people are going, no thanks.
Yeah.
So and the tribute, I mean, the tribute thing is massive countrywide, and I'm finding like we're talking before about the Bryan Adams night, which was amazing. I could have sold another 30 tickets. Alanis Morissette nights, very, very popular because people know what they're getting.
It's a tough thing, isn't it? Because I mean, you seem to be treading a really fine line.
Yeah.
Because this fundamentally, as we mentioned we did speak more at length, it's a labour of love.
Oh, without doubt.
You're doing this because this is you, this is your passion, this is what you believe in. But at the end of the day, you have to make it work.
Of course you do, yeah.
You can't continue. That's really difficult. So I suppose you kind of have to go with what people are wanting with the tribute acts.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of tribute,
but
if it pays the bills and allows you to then be a bit more experimental.
Exactly, you hit the nail on the head, yeah. And it's like, we touched on a comedy before, it's like, I've had a friend of mine runs a local football club, so he said, can I have the room as a private hire Thursday night? And I'm going to get an ex-Newcastle player, footballer, to come and do a talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a Thursday night, and it was really good. I had 40 blokes in, talking football and buying drinks. So that, for me, was a bonus night.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking about football talking. So watch this space, I'm trying, but not just your bog standard football. I'm trying to think bigger, and we talked about thinking outside the box and trying to do that and bring a footballer, an old, really big name footballer here.
Yeah.
Proven quite tricky, but I will do it. And so experimenting with that and comedy. We had a comedy night 3 weeks ago, which was great, which was really, really good. So
is that he's getting the audiences to?
Yeah, I mean, it was Thursday night again, a trial, and again I was saying about a friend of mine, Ian, up in concert. He organised it all, and it was amazing. He's got contacts, and I think we had about 25 in for the first night, which was good.
Yeah.
So I've got, I was saying before, Patrick Monaghan's coming, which is a bit more the anti of comedians, and then. But I contacted Gary Delaney.
Yeah.
I contacted, there's another one. I've actually contacted Clinton Baptiste, because he's just finished his UK tour.
Right.
And he's not got back to us. Clinton Baptiste. So Clinton, if you're watching.
We'll try and get it out.
Yeah, get out there, Clinton. And just to try and get different people. But so people, oh my God, Clinton Baptiste would be playing here. It would catapult this venue, like, oh my God, wow, it's amazing. But hasn't happened yet, but it's it might just. And but it's balancing what I know is going to be popular with the nights that I know aren't. But if I can get a nucleus of 20, 25 people in, just creates that atmosphere.
It's that thing, I think, at the minute, obviously on YouTube, which is where this video will be airing, we are very much at the mercy of the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's becoming increasingly hard for like sort of the smaller niche things. But once they do find their audience, then they can prosper. That's the other side. Talking about YouTube, it's like, well, anyone can be a success as long as you find the niche. You can't appeal to everyone. And it's just fantastic that you've got this venue that's kind of helping all these other acts. And the fact that you're diversifying for your comedy. I mean, there's obviously in this sort of Durham side area, then there's yourself also the Grey Horse in concert.
Not much, is there?
There's not a lot there. No. So it's brilliant that you're doing that. So I mean, what's been your, I suppose since we last spoke, what's been your proudest achievement over the past year? Because you
proudest achievement. Proudest achievement. I think just. First of all, just continue to grow the business, and it's like, and just not going back on my morals, and this is a music venue. and it was a music cafe type of thing. But the cafe side of it is it's open on Thursday, one Friday a month on a morning. Haven't got the time to do it more as much as I would like. But the proud thing is pushing original music, and there's nowhere, and there's some amazing original Northeast and touring musicians.
Yeah.
And the talent we have in the Northeast is for original music is fantastic, and I love that. But I need to get more people to love that.
Yeah.
And like had an artist on Thursday just gone, fantastic, a 4-piece band. I think had 11 people in. But the band absolutely loved it because they loved the atmosphere in here. But then I was down on Friday, Helen will tell you, I was really, really disappointed. The turnout on Thursday. Yes, it was a Thursday night, but I was looking for another 20 people, if that, and it would have made all the difference. But then Friday I had a really good night, which put a smile on my face. But then Sunday, I had a 5-piece band from Ulster come down, banjos, fiddles, and I had nearly 40 people in, and it was bouncing, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So being proud, that was original music, and people supported it, and it was amazing. Not a cover was played, and it was original music, and everyone loved it.
It's a big thing, isn't it, when you can get people to take that leap of faith and trust
That's
you.
Good phrase, yeah.
To trust you to find something that's worthwhile. And I think
that's a good point.
I think that's the vibe I'm picking up about the White Room, is that it's that people are trusting it. It's certainly that's what I'm picking up. People are trusting you, trusting the White Room to find acts that are maybe a bit different, that are going to be worth coming to see.
It is, and we spoke before, maybe you've known me for a while, everything's got to be different, otherwise you become the normal, you become like everybody else. So I can quite easily put singer-songwriters on doing your Mr. Brightsides and your Sweet Carolines on a night, I'll probably get people in. But I don't want that. Yes, now and again it's no problem, like you say, it's balancing it, and there's not a problem with that. And I know musicians who go out and do that for a living, and fair play to them. But it's outside the box thinking, and some people don't get that, and some people are still, there's a stigma, there's 2 stigmas, which is me challenging, is the Stanley thing. Still a stigma about Stanley. If I go around concert, I stop people, and when I'm in the supermarket, they're going like, Rico, why Stanley? That in my mind is a negative response from them.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, why not?
It's interesting. As I say, both my daughters played football for the nation. I met a lot of Stanley people, and it is interesting. Obviously, playing gigs in Stanley and the area, I've always the people that I've met, I've always found tremendously fun.
Yeah.
And but I suppose you've got 1 or 2 people that obviously spoil it for the rest. But I think it's that opportunity where you've got a town that it gets a lot of. It gets a lot of bad press.
It does, sadly, yeah.
But then you've kind of got this area that the White Room's in that seems to be picking up, and a few just little niche things where you can actually sort of bring the whole area up. And I, as I say, I hope people do continue to support.
I do. I mean, you've got obviously the shop next door. Chrissy's moved out, so there's a shop vacant next door. And I know there's a lad down the street inquired about it, which I hope it's taken, because. And I've joked with Sylvester Properties on the corner that this is the Mayfair of the Stanley Monopoly Board, and that's where it should be. And it's you've got other good businesses down here, but it is the stigma of Stanley. And I know some of the people from concert and taxi fares. I was discussing something about a taxi fare. It's £40 round trip taxi now, cost from concert. So if you're a couple and you want to drink, that's expensive, and I get that.
Yeah.
And that's just the cost of living that's gone through the roof. And I used to get a return to Stanley for like £6, didn't you? But
I remember the first when I just moved up to the concert area. I remember getting in a taxi with a couple of mates, and they were absolutely staggered at how cheap the taxi. I mean, one lad says, I think it was about £2 or something.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Castleside into concert with my mates, and we might as well let me off.
But we used to get a taxi from, we go to #1 club and concert, we're too bloody lazy to walk into the town, so we just get Atlas taxis, get a taxi. It was like 120 lads, like 30 pence each or something. That wasn't that long ago, Barry.
Their prices have all gone up as well, haven't they? So
crazy. So that is a bit of a stigma, and and there's people still don't want to pay for live music.
Yeah.
And I'm a stickler for that, and I think I don't know if I mentioned that in the last. I don't know if we touched on that last time, but I'm finding a year down the line, people who love music will pay, and I keep tickets sensible, you know. But people are going £8.
Yeah.
But they'd rather go to somewhere else for free and watch
something that's.
But if you go to other pubs, you might have someone on great.
Yeah.
But everyone's talking over them.
Yeah.
And me and Helen were in Tynemouth the other week, and I went to a pub, and I didn't realise there was a singer on. Everyone was talking over them.
Yeah. And
to me, that's disrespectful. But you put a charge on, you get the people in here, so you get respect. So if you go up there, everyone's chatting, having a drink, and then the lad goes, or the female artist, whatever it may be, on stage, and silence.
Yeah.
Yes, you get a little bit of talking, you can't stop that. But overall, that has just self-policed itself. And so being proud of doing stuff, it's sticking to me guns and doing that. Yes, I can get peed off sometimes when people don't buy tickets.
Yeah.
Well,
the integrity's there.
But yeah, and then you sort of, and the biggest achievement I think so far is having Baz Warren on from the Stranglers, and that then set the venue to another level a little bit, because people are going,
it's a big name.
Fucking hell, sorry, but you can edit that or bleep that. But they were going, fucking Baz Warren on. I'm going, yeah. How the fuck do you do that? We go. I went, just did, man, you know. But it was my friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And there's Baz said he'll come and do it. I was like, what? Baz, what the Stranglers? And anyway, so the lad, honest, an amazing fella, and came in here, and he was. I could have sold 200 tickets, but I kept tickets to £18.
Yeah.
For Baz Warren, because I'm not going to charge and rip people off and charge a fortune. And I did all right, you know, that night. And you can go and see Baz Warren the Strangler. I think it's 55 quid to go to the City Hall to see them this year in October when they're coming. So I'm thinking, being proud of the fact Baz Warren has been on this stage.
You've achieved getting him in there. You've looked after your customers.
Yes.
It's like, right, okay, I'm not going to charge you. There's a premium to it.
Yes.
But I'm not going to take advantage.
No, and I won't. I'll never do that. And it's like, you see, my price is there. But like on about cost of living and stuff going up, my electric's going to go 40 to 50 quid a month.
Yeah.
I don't have any gas, thankfully, but this is just on about small businesses. I know what I'm paying, and it's not cheap for me electric. Like on about the Grey Horse, which is open all the time. I dread to think what Sandra's paying.
Yeah.
And other bigger venues, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going to end. And you see venues every week.
That's it.
And it's heartbreaking to watch them. And it's
It is, but all we can hope is that you know. I love what you're doing here. I
cheers, man.
do.
Yeah.
And it's great to see how it has flourished, how it's now a little institution within the North East, within Stanley, and I hope it continues.
Hope so. It keeps going. Like I say, down the line, it's so.
If I come back this time
positive,
next year, then who knows what we're going to see.
Who knows who? That's it. That's the thing. We'll do it in a year's time. There's Baz Warren. Who is next? That's what.
Exactly.
Because I have tried. You know, I have tried. I've contacted. I've got Richard Thompson, Martin Knopfler, Bruce Springsteen, Jason Isbell, Jules Holland.
Why not?
And I've got a response of Big Country, if you're watching. Big Country said they would love to play here a stripped down acoustic set. So Big Country,
there we go.
Get in touch.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey man, nice to see you again, man. Cheers. Thank you.